Week 1 of the 2021 NFL season is just about in the books. We do have one game left standing as Baltimore takes on Las Vegas in Monday Night Football action later tonight. If there is anything significant that goes on in that game, I will break it down on this channel in a part 2 video tomorrow. But in the meantime, here are my 5 biggest takeaways from week number 1. In reverse order, number 5, Cincinnati's offense could be potentially special. I mean, Joe Burrow in his first game back after missing the final portion of his rookie season with significant injuries showed zero signs of wear and tear. Looked like he did not lose a step. Set career highs in yards per attempt and passer rating. He made several clutch throws. Also really did good in improvising, making some crucial plays that helped the Bengals pick up a big win over Minnesota in overtime. On top of things, Ja'Marr Chase, their number 5 overall pick in this year's draft, a lot of concerns about the drops he had in the preseason. Looked like that may be a thing of a past, and looked like the Ja'Marr Chase of LSU caught everything that was thrown his way, had a touchdown, had several other big-time catches. The chemistry is obviously there between him and Burrow. On top of things, though, Joe Mixon looked extremely good yesterday, as did T. Higgins. You got Tyler Boyd in the mix as well. If that offensive line can be even adequate, they don't have to be great. They just have to be adequate enough to give this offense room to work. This could be a special one. In a defense, I mean, look, again, they don't have to be the 85 Bears, but if they're adequate enough and do enough, just enough, this Bengal team could turn a lot of heads and surprise a lot of people this year. One team I don't see surprising too many people is Jacksonville. Number 4 point, the Jaguars. It's going to be a very, very long year. Listen, no disrespect to the Houston Texans, but that is probably the easiest game that the Jaguars are going to have on their schedule. Many people expected the Texans to be the worst team in football this year, yet by the way they looked yesterday, looked like they could beat or at least give Kansas City and Tampa Bay a run for their money. That's more of an indication of how bad Jacksonville looked. They looked listless on offense. Their defense looked atrocious. Their offensive line was horrendous. And it blew my mind how woefully unprepared Urban Meyer's team looked out there. They looked unmotivated, unprepared. This is not a good sign, folks. I mean, it's a tough transition for college coaches to the NFL anyway. And already Urban Meyer's made leeway for all the wrong reasons. He's getting headlines for all the wrong reasons. Game 1 of the Meyer tenure was an unmitigated disaster. And they just went out there and got smoked by a bad Texans team. As I said, it's not going to get any easier from here for him. So pay attention to that one, folks. I'm not saying Meyer's on the hot seat, but could he pull a Bobby Petrino and realize the NFL is not his ball game? Would not surprise me whatsoever. Point number 3, Chandler Jones. Hey, I said in a prediction video a couple days ago that somebody was going to reach the 20-sack plateau. Well, I'm going to add Chandler Jones to that mix because after week 1, he is already a fourth of the way to 20. Now, granted, he's not going to have 5 sacks every week, but what a dominant performance for one of the league's probably more underappreciated and underheralded pass rushers. Jones has been a pretty dominant force for a long time. Never fully gets the credit as an elite one, though. But yesterday, he certainly looked every bit that elite pass rusher. And this was a good sign for him, a good start, because he's a free agent at the end of the season, already demanded a trade from the Cardinals. But after yesterday, Steve Keim, or whoever the general manager winds up being in Arizona after the season, is going to have a decision on his hands, because I don't think you can afford to let Jones get away, especially when he's playing at this level in his prime. Point number 2, the Alabama quarterbacks yesterday really stood tall. I know people will call Jalen Hurts an Oklahoma one, but he was there one year. He got his feet wet and made his biggest, earliest splashes at Alabama. So I'm going to credit him as a Nick Saban guy as well. 264 yards passing, 62 rushing. Also had 3 touchdowns in Philly's blowout win over Atlanta yesterday. I know he's going to face some tougher defenses along the line, but he showed a ton of poise out there. He really made the offense look very impressive. Spread the rock impressively. As I said, he did well in passing and rushing. I think the Eagles have got themselves a quarterback in the future here in Hurts. All this talk about trading for Watson or someone else may be premature, because, again, Hurts is a baller. He was a baller in college. He made big plays. He certainly looked the part yesterday, but, again, really stood tall. Meanwhile, in New England, Mac Jones, 281 yards passing, 74.4 completion percentage, made some big throws out there, showed a very nice arm, very good accuracy, NFL poise. He looked like he was not deterred by the situation against a division rival with a very good defense. I know they lost a game, but certainly by no fault of Jones. He looks like he is definitely going to very adequately fill the shoes of Tom Brady. who in year 2 post Brady. Again, he's not going to be Brady. If you're a New England fan listening to this and saying he needs to measure up to Tom, he's not going to do it. Nobody's going to do that, but Jones certainly looks like he's going to be just fine in keeping that quarterback succession running strong. And also, not to be lost in the shuffle, my boy Tua Tagovailoa, 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground, really spread the offense around. Didn't have the most impressive statistic day, but the biggest stat I took away from that is he helped the Dolphins to just their 3rd win in Foxborough since the 2001 season. I mean, Miami has certainly been pantsed in New England quite a bit under Bill Belichick. And yesterday, again, just win number 3 since 2001. Tua played a big part in that, even though the stats didn't tell the whole story. Last but certainly not least, number 1 takeaway, I don't know what the hell that was yesterday with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, I know Aaron Rodgers is an elite quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, one of the top probably 3 or 4 of this generation. Coming off an MVP season, 13.5 QBR, 133 yards. That, this is against the New Orleans defense that is bend, not break. But what concerns me the most isn't that he put these numbers up. It concerns me of how lackadaisical he looked out there. He was dogging it. He looked like he did not give a shit and was trying to prove a point. I know there's that power struggle going on between he and Matt LaFleur and he and Brian Gutekunst, the general manager. He's trying to prove a point. He's trying to win a power struggle. But to go out there and dog it, I have no tolerance for that. You go out there and play like you did as the MVP, and then you go and say, look, this is what I'm capable of. If this is his way to try to force himself out of town or to force them to make a decision, he doesn't have much of a foot to stand on. Meanwhile, a sidebar to this, Jameis Winston, you want to talk about one of the strangest statistical games you will see. 130.8 quarterback rating. He had 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, which for Jameis is significant. But then you look at his passing yards, you think he threw for 400 yards. Nope, he threw for 148. This is the new Jameis Winston, and you know what? That's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all, because he showed a lot of discipline out there. He showed a lot of poise. He didn't make the gunslinging mistakes that he made in Tampa Bay. Maybe that 1 year under Drew Brees' learning tree and having a little bit of that coaching magic that Sean Payton sprinkled on him turned him into a different quarterback. But certainly interesting statistical line, to say the least. That'll wrap things up for this video, folks. I will be back probably tomorrow if there's something significant that happens in the Ravens-Raiders game. But if not, stay tuned to this channel for more content. And if you like what you hear, as always, please like, share, and subscribe. It does help me with the YouTube algorithm. All right, guys, I'll talk to you again soon. This has been JP. Thank you for listening.